Hi guys, my name is Chris and you're watching Wrestling Today, so let's start with WWE Evolution results 2025. Women's Intercontinental Champion Becky Lynch vs Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. The Women's Intercontinental title remains with Becky Lynch after she retained in an incredible triple threat match against Lyra Valkyria and Bayley. The raucous Atlanta crowd roared in approval to begin the bout as all three superstars looked to emerge victorious in the title fight. Lynch and Bayley briefly rekindled their old partnership to take out Valkyria, but they immediately went back to battling each other with the champion targeting the role model's knee. Valkyria came back in a big way, but Bayley flew from the top rope to break up the pin with her signature elbow drop. The action became more frenetic as Bayley took down Lynch with a Bayley to belly and Valkyria executed a Nightwing on the champion, but neither could win the match. Bayley nailed a rose plant on Valkyria, but the champion sprung into the ring and rolled up Bayley to escape Evolution with the title. NXT Women's Champion Jacy Jayne vs Jordynne Grace. Jacy Jayne is still NXT Women's Champion after a shocking betrayal. Jayne dominated the early goings much to the delight of her Fatal Influence teammates Fallon Henley and Jasmine Nix, worrying Blake Monroe, who was in Grace's corner. The Juggernaut battled back using her signature power as she tossed the champion halfway across the ring with a massive spinebuster and a folding powerbomb. The champion attempted to hit Grace with the title, but Monroe took out Fatal Influence at ringside. Monroe's intervention allowed the challenger to counter the attack, causing the championship to fly out of the ring. However, Monroe picked up the title and cracked Grace in the back with it, allowing Jayne to hit her rolling encore to win the match. After the bell, Monroe handed the title to Jayne, smirked, and exited, infuriating the hurting Grace. WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez vs Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, the Kabuki Warriors and Sol Ruca and Zarya. Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez won an incredible fatal four-way tag team match to remain the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. The action was non-stop chaos as all four teams did their best to end the match early, with NXT's Sol Ruca and Zarya sending a message by dominating the veteran Alexa Bliss. Bliss finally tagged in Charlotte Flair, and the Queen cleaned house, knocking around all her opponents and finishing the barrage by hitting the Prodigy with a rib-cracking spear. Flair found herself in a bad position as the NXT Women's North American Champion nailed her with a Soul Snatcher, but Zarya's spear attempt on Bliss went awry as she accidentally leveled her partner when Flair yanked Bliss out of the way. After Rodriguez launched Bliss onto a mass of superstars at ringside and Perez took out Flair, Rodriguez hit Ruca with a Tejana bomb to win the unbelievable match and retain the title. WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton vs Trish. It was Tiffy time in Atlanta as Tiffany Stratton defeated Trish to remain WWE Women's Champion. The WWE Hall of Famer proved why she's one of the best to ever do it as she brought the fight to the champion with the deafening crowd serenading her with, "You still got it," chants. Stratton battled back in a big way by using her athletic offense, hitting a Falcon Arrow onto her own knees and a scintillating Swanton Bomb. The challenger responded by hitting Stratusfaction, but it wasn't enough to become an 8-time women's champion. Not to be deterred, Stratton hit an Alabama Slam and the prettiest moonsault ever to defeat Trish. Jade Cargill vs Naomi no-holds-barred match. With Bianca Belair as the special guest referee, Jade Cargill finally exacted payback on Naomi as she defeated her in a no-holds-barred match. The carnage started immediately as Naomi introduced steel chairs, kendo sticks, a steel chain and even a trash can. Ms. Money in the Bank wrapped the chain around Cargill's face and wrenched backward, but the powerful superstar launched her off the top rope to break the hold. Cargill cracked Naomi with a chain-wrapped right hand and even used a WWE camera to attack her opponent before smashing her with the trash can. The devious Naomi lured Cargill into a trap and smashed her into the monitor on the commentary table, causing it to explode and short-circuit on her. Naomi continued her attack by sending Cargill through a table and planting her on a chair, but it wasn't enough to win the match. With Cargill perched on a table, Naomi ascended to the top rope, but she was met there and hit with an avalanche jaded through the table that mercifully ended the bout. Stephanie Vaquer won Battle Royal to earn a World Championship match at Clash in Paris. Stephanie Vaquer headed to Clash in Paris for a championship match after winning a Battle Royal in impressive fashion. Jax dominated the early goings by eliminating several NXT superstars, but Kalani Jordan landed on the announce table and walked on her hands back to the ring to avoid elimination. Zelina Vega got one over on the superstar that dethroned her for the United States Championship, Julia, by sending her into the steel ring post and knocking her to the floor to take her out of the bout. Superstars began to tumble over the top rope until the final four was Nikki Bella, Jax, Lash Legend, and Vacker, with NXT's Legend single-handedly eliminating the Hall of Famer. Legend and Vacker eliminated Jax together, and the Dark Angel used all of her strength to force Legend onto the apron before hitting her with the Devil's Kiss and knocking her to the floor to win the match. Naomi cashed in her Money in the Bank contract and defeated Sky and Rhea Ripley in a triple threat match to win the Women's World Championship. Naomi is the new Women's World Champion, and it came after an iconic title match between Sky and Rhea Ripley in the main event of Evolution. The champion struck first, and despite her dive being foiled, Sky bounced back with a perfect moonsault to drop Ripley. The Eradicator withstood the aerial assault and planted Sky on the announce table, which injured the champion's lower back. Adrenaline soared through the champion, who fought back, but Ripley countered the over the moonsault before falling victim to an amazing Poison Rana. The Eradicator countered another aerial maneuver into a razor's edge and subsequently planted the champion with a sit-out powerbomb, but it wasn't enough to win the title. After stunning the challenger, Sky accidentally hit the official with a springboard dropkick, and Ripley's riptide was for naught as there was no official to count the pin. Ripley proceeded to destroy the champion and fought her through the crowd, but Sky knocked down Ripley and hit a remarkable diving splash from the top of a landing. Sky dragged Ripley back into the ring and hit an over the moonsault, but Ripley somehow kicked out, which sent the Atlanta crowd into a frenzy. A Spanish fly from Sky left both superstars in pain, and that's when Ms. Money in the Bank Naomi appeared and cashed in her contract. Naomi smashed Sky with her briefcase, hurled Ripley into the ring post and out of the ring, and hit her split-legged moonsault on the champion to win the Women's World title in stunning fashion. Thanks guys for watching, and please subscribe.